So, you know, what was one of the things that really made, I mean, obviously you read all the stuff about Dan Inosanto and whatnot, but what made you keep coming back? Because it's not like you just did this commute once or anything, right?
No.
Like you were going
At one point,
all the time.
Yeah, at one point,
You probably attended more, and you're from Barbados, than most people did, and they're in their own city.
it's possible. I estimate. I don't remember because it was so long ago, but I think at one point I was.
Because the master list, yeah, it's awesome.
I was probably getting to LA every other month.
Wow.
Or so, right? It was cool. Let me tell you, it was the best. It was the best thing in my life at the time because I would fly in.
That's cool.
You know, maybe late at night.
Right.
I'd fly in late at night, and then he would come pick me up the following morning.
So he would pick you up.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. Right. And back in those days. His wife, Paula Inosanto, she was like constant companion. So they would come pick me up at the hotel, and we would drive over to Carson, where he taught Tuesday morning class at the IMB Academy. So I would get to train there.
That's awesome.
Right? Then we would leave there and we would go to Harbor College, where he taught a self-defense thing to college students. So I'd get to assist there, right? Then we'd go to lunch, and then they would drop me off at the Inosanto Academy, and they would go run errands and what have you. So I'd be at the academy by myself.
Training?
Yeah, well, yeah, right.
Pull out a cot. You
Yeah,
can sleep there.
right? No. But, you know, there was a time where...
Smash the like button if you want to go sleep at the Inosanto Academy.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's allowed now. But back in the 80s, the nickname that I had for it was the Inosanto Academy of Martial Arts and International Youth Hostel, right?
Yeah.
Because at one point I was there. There were some kids from Australia. There were kids from Germany. You know, the people from Japan. I mean, literally, people from all over the world would be there. And some of them, my understanding is that they would have saved up in order to fly to LA.
Yeah.
But they might not have money for accommodation.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't even know if Sifu Dan charged them for classes while they were there.
Yeah.
You know? Right?
That's impressive.
So the Inosanto International Youth Hostel.
Wow.
That's what it was.
Did you? Because I know you're big with Kali. We may get some crazy people on here who don't like Kali because they think it's not part of JKD or anything. But
oh really?
What are your thoughts on that? I know we may get a little some attention.
So,
share this if you love Kali.
So back in the day, the detractors would point to a paragraph in Sifu Dan's Jeet Kune Do book where he admits that when he first showed Eskrima to Bruce Lee, that he took a dim view of it, right? But what he did, but then at some later point,
right.
I think it was double stick, and Bruce Lee was showing what he would do. And Inosanto says, well, that's Largamano. He goes, I don't know what you call it, but this is how I would do it. Right? So, if you learn to read between the lines of the paragraph, what Bruce Lee is saying is that Largamano would be his preferred approach with stick fighting.
Right.
Right? Now, anybody who says, oh, no, Kali or Eskrima has nothing to do with JKD, is, in my opinion, is not somebody who's like deep into it. Because even if you just stay on the surface, Bruce Lee was known affectionately as the king of the nunchaku.
Yes.
Right?
Of course.
And that came from where?
All the movies, yeah.
Right.
Well,
but
from Inosanto, of course.
Exactly,
yes.
right?
Yes.
So he learned what we call in Kali the tabok tuyok or the olisi toyok, right? But, the Filipino terms have never been popularized, so everybody knows it as nunchaku or nunchucks or whatever it is. But that's Filipino martial art right there, right? Used in Fist of Fury, used in Game of Death, used in Way of the Dragon, Enter the Dragon, right?
Everyone.
It's all right.
I think there was a movie where he used the Kali sticks.
Yeah, in Enter the Dragon, in the dungeon scene.
Yes.
See, so here's my analysis, right? Here's my analysis of that fight scene, right? If you watch what he starts out and he's just going simultaneous parry and hit every time, right? It's bang, 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 bang.
Right.
But then he realizes there's too many damn people, right? So he runs and gets an equalizer.
Mm-hmm.
The staff,
right?
The 6-foot staff, right?
Yeah.
Well, Bankauer, the Siba, right? But then I think after using that, he realizes it's too long for the confined quarters in which he's fighting.
Exactly.
So he drops that and picks up the double stick, right? Because now he can be mobile
moving,
and he can move faster.
Bang, bang, bang.
But then ultimately, right? He one guy, his nunchaku wraps around the single stick, and then he just goes pop, pop, pop,
Yeah,
and then that, that's it.
Do you think that was kind of his? It almost sounds like that was like his introduction to show why Kali is so useful and why the double sticks are so useful. I mean, if he went from staff and said, "Okay, let's not use that," and I mean, I don't remember the full movie tag, but you know what I mean.
Well, I think what he was showing, because there are always messages in Bruce Lee's films, right?
Right.
There's always messages. I think in that instance, he was showing that you have to be versed in a variety of weapons, and you also have to be versed in weaponry and empty hands.
Yeah.
You see, so I think that that's maybe a tiny message in there about it. I don't know that he was. I wouldn't say that he was specifically promoting Filipino martial art, right? As such, I think he was just showing that you have to have skill in weapons.
So do you train, when you train your students, are you training them with, I kind of know the answer because I went through this, right? Are you training them with double stick, or do you start them together with Junfan, JKD style stuff, or do you just, what's
yeah, so I have a theory, right? I have a theory that you should always challenge yourself. So it's not...
Good theory. Pound the like button if you like the theory.